It's Powerback time on the Gutsy Podcast. Each episode brings you 5 minutes of condensed inspiration to reclaim the courage and momentum you've unintentionally given away. You've got big things to do, so let's get your power back. Welcome to this Thursday's Powerback. Look, earlier this week, I don't even have words. The quantum physics, quantum jumping, embodiment, like energy miraculousness that happened with Joshua Bloom was intense in the most beautiful and coolest of ways. So if you have not heard that episode, I highly recommend you go back. It went a little over an hour, but simply because I couldn't just stop the conversation. It was too good. So how do we bring that energy forward? Other people's energy. I know we spent a lot of time on Tuesday thinking about your energy and working with your energy, but a really important factor to be aware of, to be conscious of, to just build like self-awareness around is other people's energy, the way that it affects you, the way that you may be absorbing it, and the way that you may be implementing it into your own life. Before we dig into that, let's talk about the power of community. The power of having other people to bounce ideas off of, to brainstorm with, to say, hey, I have an idea. What do you think of this? Or, you know what? I am stuck. I could really use a sounding board. A group of intentional and conscious people that you know that you can lean on for resources and guidance, and honestly to share victories with as well. Owning and running a business can be a really weird and lonely place, and it doesn't have to be like that anymore. You don't have to build your empire alone anymore, period. Because I built the Gutsy Collective for people just like you, just like me, that says, you know what? I just want to be around other badass people doing very cool things and be able to support one another. So if you have been searching for a community, go to lauraora.com and start a free trial for the Gutsy Collective. So let's talk about other people's energy, shall we? Look, I know that you have experienced it. You went to an event and the energy or the vibe in the room just felt off. You went to a family barbecue and that one person was there that just always makes you feel some kind of way. Hell, you could even be scrolling through your Instagram and come across somebody's post and be able to feel something from it, and then you unintentionally end up carrying that throughout your day. This happens way more often than most people realize, especially if you are empathetic, especially if you are an energy worker, and most definitely if you are both of those things. Now you might be saying, Laura, I don't necessarily align with either one of those, but I know that I'm picking up on people. And what I say to that is, okay, it doesn't need a label. You don't have to be a certain thing to be receptive to other people's energies. So how do you know if you are picking up on someone else's energy? Falling right into the undoing process, the very first thing I'm going to tell you is recognize. Recognize if something in you has shifted. Were you in one type of mood and then you were around someone or a group of people and now you feel different? Did you have one train of thought and one level of excitement in your mind and in your body, and after leaving a certain situation, you're thinking the complete opposite? Are you experiencing weird bodily things that you didn't have before? Like you were fine and then you were around a certain someone and now you feel not fine? Or again, back to digital, because you can pick up on energy through digital means. Recognize when there is a shift in you. Now, I will say, I want to put a caveat in here, that sometimes picking up on other people's energies is really good. So if you are around someone with a high energy, with a yes, I can type of mentality, you can pick up on that. Like that type of energy is very contagious. You can go from feeling like a giant turd to feeling like you can take over the world simply by being around someone that has incredible energy. Have you ever left a conference or an event or a Zoom and you're like, man, I feel so much better? You picked up on the energy. That's exceptional. So recognize that too. Like, how am I feeling? How have I shifted? Am I the same? Do I feel worse? Or do I feel so much better? If you're neutral or feel way better, then you don't necessarily have to shift anything. Unless, of course, you want to, and then follow what your body and your soul is saying. But if you're walking away feeling worse, this is where I really want you to recognize and say, okay, what is going on here? Because the next step is then to release. And you can release other people's energies in a lot of different ways. A few episodes we talked about tapping, which is an exceptional way to move energy. We also talked about somatic dancing, which, look, anytime that you can get up and physically move your body in any way that you are able, that is an incredible way for you to shift energy up and out. Meditation is an incredible way for you to come back into your own body. A chance to get quiet and silent and go within and say, what is true? What is real? And one of my favorite ways to reclaim myself is to say, I call all of my power back to me from all timelines, situations, circumstances, and people. And really feel into that, embody it, like say it a few times until you feel like I have regained myself. This is part of the reframing of saying, okay, I see what this is. I recognize that this is not mine. I release it back to where it came from, and I step back into my own self. Do you love taking those quizzes? You know which ones I'm talking about. The ones that tell you which Disney princess you are and what your name reveals about you. What if I told you that I could pinpoint exactly where you are unintentionally giving away your power in your business? This is what I like to call a power leak. Think of it like having the heat blaring in the middle of winter, but the back window has a crack in it and all of the cold air is coming in. Guess where all your energy is going? Out the back window. The same goes for your power leak. These spaces, your mind, time, voice, presence, or money, are your biggest opportunity for growth. If you're ready to learn where you are unintentionally giving away your power, go to lauraora.com and take the free Power Leak quiz. 11 questions, less than 5 minutes, and a whole lot of self-discovery and opportunities await. A very, very simple exercise that works like a charm is grounding. Now, there's a lot of different ways to ground, so no right or wrong, but the way that I love to ground is to physically go be on the ground. Like take off my shoes, wear shorts if I can, and go stand in the grass, go sit in the grass, and really just take a minute to feel the energy of the earth. I like to picture pouring water through my body. Think of it like a cleansing process. So your left is receiving and your right is giving. So I picture giving all of the energy back into the earth and receiving new, cleansed, fresh energy up into my left foot and up and over. And again, back down to the right side and out my right foot. Think of it like the shape of a rubber band. If I just had like a giant ass rubber band and I stood it in front of you on the ground, the energy cycle would follow the path of that rubber band. Up through the left, up to your top of your head, down the right, and back into the earth. And look, if none of these are resonating with you, then don't do it. Like, that's the power of you, is you get to decide what is right for you. You get to initiate practices that work well with you and your energy. And you get to make the decision. The goal here is to recognize, and how you decide to release and reclaim is 110% up to you. You get to call the shots. You get to turn it on and off. And you get to release anything that doesn't belong to you. Maybe on another episode we'll talk about putting up your protective energy bubble as well. Once again, I will invite you to join the Gutsy Collective, where you know that contagious energy that I was talking about earlier? That's what you'll feel in the Gutsy Collective. I can promise you that. Just go to lauraora.com, sign up for the free 14-day trial, and I will see you on the inside. Next week's episode of the Gutsy Podcast, number 130, is about managing your numbers as a creative entrepreneur. So if you are a creative person, you're running a business, and you're like, damn it, I need to know my numbers, but I don't even know where to start, next week's episode is just for you. Connect with me on TikTok and Instagram where I play the most. I am at that Laura Ora, and as always, until I see you next time, stay gutsy.